These are the Reteach notes for the parent function for Algebra 2. And make the screen just a touch bigger. You will need 5 pages of the note paper because we have 10 parent functions that we will be doing today. There are a lot of parent functions. What a parent function is almost like a root word. It's a main idea, and you can translate it, you can transform it, you can move it, but the ideas of it and some of its shape will always remain. The first parent function that we look at is just c, y equals c. This is called a constant function. And a constant function, if we write it into a table, would mean that no matter what the value of x is, I could say x is -2, y is going to be whatever that constant function is. If I say x is 0, y will be the constant. If I say x is 2, y will be the constant. And the constant can be any real value. So if I write it on a graph, it would look like just a horizontal line. So in this case, I've said the constant equals 1. But it could have been -6, it could have been anything we wanted along this y-axis. So our domain for this is I can use all real numbers. So I would say x such that x is an element of real numbers. Okay, that means any number that I choose for x is going to be valid. The problem comes with our range. Our range is only going to be, if we look at this, whatever y is. And so our range is y such that y equals the constant. And so this number will change depending on where y is on the graph. The second parent function we do is also pretty common, one that we'll work with quite a bit. And this is just f of x, which stands for y. It's the function of x being the independent variable, f of x being the dependent variable, y being the dependent variable. In other words, it's what the function does depending on what x is. So in this case, we'll call it's f of x equals x, or y equals x. You can think of it either way. And so if we put some values in our table, I'll use -2 again, 0 and 2. If I say x is -2, well, y will be -2. If x is 0, y will be 0. If x is 2, y will be 2. When we plot these points, -2, -2, 0, 0, 2, 2, what we get is we'll get just a constant line, or a consistent line, continual line. And this is just called a linear function. And it's linear because it is a line. The domain for this, if you look at this, it's not going to matter what I enter for x, I will get a y. And so our domain is x, such that x is an element of real numbers. Our range, same thing. We will get all values from -infinity to infinity. So our range is y such that y is an element of real numbers. As we move on, the functions will get less and less common, but the first few are very common. The next function that we'll go to is a quadratic function, or we can also refer to it as a polynomial even function. I'm going to write it here as x squared, but that could be x to the 4th, x to the 6th, x to the 8th. It changes the shape a little, but the general shape of the function is the same. And so here, f of x would be x squared.